The rain lashed against the glass doors of St. Augustine's Hospital in central London, a beacon of medical excellence nestled among the city's historic streets. It was past midnight, and the emergency department buzzed with the controlled chaos of a Friday night. Michael Reynolds sat behind the intake desk, his starched uniform crisp as his stern demeanor. His eyes, hardened by years of hospital bureaucracy, scanned incoming patients with disdain. For those he deemed unworthy. Through the doors stumbled Sarah Bennett, 8 months pregnant, her coat soaked from the storm. Her contractions had started hours ago in her Kensington townhouse, but her husband was away, or so she thought. Each step was a battle against pain, her breath in sharp gasps as she clutched a black leather designer bag, a diamond ring glinting on her finger as she gripped the counter. Michael Reynolds barely looked up from his computer. "Name and insurance details," he demanded, his tone clipped, assuming she was a walk-in straining resources. Sarah Bennett's voice trembled as she tried to explain, but a contraction stole her words, her cry echoing through the sterile lobby. "Keep it down, will you?" Michael Reynolds snapped, his voice dripping with contempt. "This isn't a market stall." His words cut through the air, reducing Sarah Bennett's pain to an inconvenience. Other staff, nurses checking charts, porters pushing trolleys, paused, sensing tension. High above, a security camera's red light blinked, recording every moment. Sarah Bennett's cry drew stares, but Michael Reynolds' irritation only grew. To him, she was a chaotic disruption to his orderly world. He didn't notice her bag's quality, her tailored coat, or her poised demeanor despite pain, marking her as unimportant in his mental ledger. As another contraction hit, Sarah Bennett's bag slipped, spilling its contents across the marble floor. A monogrammed baby blanket, a silver rattle, and a wallet with credit cards scattered like evidence of a life Michael Reynolds hadn't seen. His eyes widened briefly, but pride locked him into his stance. "Pick that up," he muttered, asserting control. The lobby grew quiet, other staff exchanging uneasy glances. Michael Reynolds rose, his frustration peaking. In reckless anger, he pushed past Sarah Bennett to grab a fallen pen, his elbow catching her side. She stumbled, her pregnant frame hitting the floor with a thud, her gold bracelet skidding across the marble. The security camera captured it all: the shove, the fall, the scattered belongings. The digital footage, stored in the hospital's servers, was weaving a narrative that would unravel Michael Reynolds' world. At 2:17 a.m., the glass doors slid open, admitting Dr. Thomas Bennett, his tailored overcoat damp from rain. His presence shifted the room's gravity, his eyes scanning with surgical precision. To the staff, he was a concerned husband, but he was the anonymous owner of St. Augustine's, his identity hidden for 6 years. Dr. Thomas Bennett had built a tech fortune, driven by his sister's death in a poorly run clinic to transform St. Augustine's into a model of care. He worked behind the scenes, posing as a consultant. Tonight, his facade crumbled as he saw Sarah Bennett on the floor, blood staining her coat. Dr. Thomas Bennett called out, rushing to Sarah Bennett's side. His gaze locked onto Michael Reynolds, recognition dawning. Michael Reynolds had seen him in board meetings but never connected him to ownership. Now, the weight of his mistake hit like a tidal wave. By 10 a.m., the hospital's boardroom was a tribunal. Michael Reynolds sat at a polished table, facing Dr. Elizabeth Carter, wearing a black blazer with a silver caduceus brooch. Dr. Thomas Bennett stood in the corner, his silence damning. The security footage played, each frame a nail in Michael Reynolds' career. Dr. Elizabeth Carter began, her voice like steel. "You assaulted a patient, violated our code, and disgraced this institution." Michael Reynolds' protests died as Dr. Thomas Bennett spoke. "You pushed my pregnant wife in my hospital. You ignored every principle I've built." The termination papers were prepared. Michael Reynolds' decade of service ended with a signature, his badge confiscated. The footage would be reviewed by regulators, ensuring he'd never work in healthcare again. As he left, staff whispered, the news of Dr. Thomas Bennett's ownership spreading. 3 months later, St. Augustine's gleamed with purpose. Sarah Bennett, now recovered, had given birth to Lily Bennett. Inspired by her ordeal, Sarah Bennett led the Dignity Initiative. Multilingual signage in English, Urdu, and Polish adorned the lobby, and a patient advocacy desk replaced the old station. Dr. Thomas Bennett emerged from anonymity, his story inspiring London's medical community. A plaque in the maternity ward read, "To every patient in pain, may you leave with peace." Sarah Bennett's office displayed photos of Lily Bennett and letters from patients. Michael Reynolds found work at a community clinic in East London, serving the underserved. The pay was low, the hours grueling, but it humbled him. He sent anonymous messages to the Dignity Initiative's helpline, "I'm learning to do better." Redemption was slow but possible. A year later, the Dignity Initiative had spread to 10 London hospitals. Dr. Thomas Bennett and Sarah Bennett spoke at conferences, sparking NHS reforms. Medical schools added patient advocacy to curricula, and professional bodies revised ethics codes. St. Augustine's became a beacon of care. Lily Bennett, now toddling through hospital corridors, was a symbol of hope. Staff called her "our little light." Dr. Thomas Bennett's office held 2 photos, one of his sister, whose death inspired his mission, and one of Sarah Bennett and Lily Bennett. The security cameras, once silent witnesses, were now guardians of a new ethos. The footage of that night was shown to new staff, a lesson in accountability. London's hospitals shifted through a cultural awakening. Every patient deserved dignity, no matter their appearance or status.